It's sad that there are so many parents out there that was pushed through the school system that don't even have a second grade education. They have no idea what a verb or a noun is. And when they try helping their children at home, their second grade children, the parent try to do the work for them because, of course, they're ignorant. They don't want to take the time out to help their child, or they just don't know. So what they do is they tell the child, this is what you're supposed to do. So what they do is they Google a word like, for example, table or curtain or run. So to figure out if that's a noun or a verb, they will Google that word table and then still put the wrong answer down. And then the child looks bad in their classroom because now the teacher now calls out that child and lets that child know that that's not the right answer. So listen, parents, especially in the black community, and I know there's a lot of black folk that's not gonna like what I have to say, and of course there's that segment that's always well, there's ignorant white people too, and white people do it too. Of course, I'm fully aware of that. That's why in the beginning of this video I said, parents, if you know that you don't even have a second grade education, that you were one of those victims that was pushed through the school system without any real knowledge, and you think you know, just like you see the caption that says, real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. What's sad is there's so many parents out there, so many so-called adults that have no idea the extent of their own ignorance. They think they know. And these are people that's always trying to debate, always trying to correct someone, always trying to show off what they think they have as knowledge, and they're only making themselves look like fools. I'm the type of person is, if I know that you're trying to argue with me over something that I know, and you're just going by feelings, or you're trying to make yourself seem smart and intelligent, I'll let you remain in your ignorance. I won't correct you. I'll go so far with you. I'll try to slowly break it down to you. And if you still feel that you want to argue and debate and fight with me, I'm going to let you have your way. I'm going to let you do what you feel you need to do. I'm going to leave you in your ignorance, and then behind your back, you have people that's actually laughing at you because they know you don't know. You think you know, and you try to convince the world that you know. The sad thing is you try to convince yourself that you know, right? So real knowledge is to know the extent of one's own ignorance. And don't get me wrong, there are some functioning ignorant people out there. There's functioning ignorance out there where you may have a low paying job. You may work in Target. There's nothing wrong with working in Target. You may work in Walmart. There's nothing wrong with working in Walmart, especially in these days and times. And you may be a janitor or custodian. That's all you know how to do. But that's not looking down on you because of the capacity you work in, because I know some janitors that make pretty good money. But there are people that's in that capacity not because of the fact that they're making good money. It's because that's all they know, right? So they go through a temp service. The temp service get them a job and take a great portion of what you're supposed to make. They take that as their profit and may give you like $7, $8. Nowadays, the minimum wage, and then with minimum wage, you may get $14 to $15, but they're going to cut your hours with no benefits. So you're still struggling. You're still put in a position, your ignorance puts you in a position where now you have to accept what's given to you or turn to the life of crime. right? But there are some functioning, ignorant parents out there, especially in the black community. You're functioning, you're able to maintain, and it may be a dilapidated house, but you still have lights, you have heat, you're still functioning. You have no business trying to sit down with your kids doing their homework, especially if you're trying to do the homework for them. You're not allowing them to use their minds, so now you're conditioning your child to be like you when they become adults. Because you try to find the easy way out, the easy route, because you don't want to do it. So you tell your child, just go on Google. Stop depending on Google. Learn to think for yourself. When I was growing up, we didn't have no Google. As a matter of fact, I remember, just a short story, and I'm going to end this video. I remember I had a comic book. And, no, actually it was like a little newspaper they called Grit. I don't know if, for those people that's around my age, if you remember Grit. And in this newspaper, a little article or pamphlet or whatever, it had ads in there. And it had like little content where you click on this thing and, you have the, opportunity of winning a free 24-volume set of encyclopedia. So, of course, I'm like in my preteens, because I had to be about 10 or 11 when I signed this thing out and when it got a postage stamp, because postage stamps were like nothing. It was like pennies, right? So when it got a postage stamp, put my little name, address on there and sent it out. Forgot all about it. Then I get this letter in the mail saying that I won a 24-volume set of encyclopedias. Had no idea. Well, I knew what encyclopedias was, right? But never had them. They were only in the library or maybe in school, right? And so before you realize it, about maybe 2 weeks later, this truck pulls up in front of the house, takes this big box out, and dumps it at my house, right? And it was a 24-volume set of encyclopedia. I love those books. As a matter of fact, I sold them right before I went into the military, and now, to this day, I regret I sold those encyclopedias. I put them in the local paper, the penny saver, and the white dude came and picked them right up, right? Gave me a few $100 for them. But today, those things will be worth a fortune, right? But back then, even with the encyclopedias I had, when I had to do schoolwork, when I did my homework, well, I had encyclopedias at home. I didn't have to go to the library, right? And so when I got home, I went through the encyclopedia and I was able to, read the encyclopedia and then put the information down. See, I was using my brain. As a child, nobody told me to do that. No one had to tell me to sit down and do my research in a 24-volume set of encyclopedias. They were basically given to me. I won them. So when they came, keep in mind, 10 or 11 years old, got a 24-volume set of encyclopedias, right? And like the medical book, I went through that. It was, man, I wish I had them to this day. I really, really, really regret getting rid of those books back then, right? But, when you live in a certain time period, it's like you take things for granted. You really don't know the value of something until it's gone or until time passes by. And then you start thinking like, wow, I wish I had that. See, everybody nowadays depend upon the internet and Google. People are not conditioned nowadays to think for themselves. They've been dumbed down. And then you have adults out there that had taken for granted the teachers. Like when school was in operation before this whole COVID thing, you took those teachers for granted, man. And a lot of parents use school, not so that their kids can get an education, but they use the school system as babysitters so that they can have peace and quiet to themselves, so that they can do what they want to do without their kids. And they really care less about their child's education. So now that school is out and they're doing these Zoom classes and whatnot, now you have teachers that now are in your home and they see and hear what you do in the background while your child is trying to get an education. This one kid was trying to tell their parents to be quiet, that he's trying to listen, and they had their rap music bumping in the back and, you know, talking about things they really shouldn't talk about, walking around the house inappropriate around their kids. So your teacher, your kids' teachers are in your home. They see what goes on, right? So you're going to sit down and try to work with your child knowing that you have less than a second grade education. Yeah, you may brag about your high school diploma or your GED, but you were pushed through the system. You didn't learn nothing. That's something you were just given, and now you have a whole society, man, of people that are used to having their hands out. They're not used to doing for themselves. They're not used to really researching and studying. The best way to learn is silence. I can sit there and listen to a person all day, man, and I can learn from someone. And then, even if I'm not getting real knowledge from them, you're teaching me how ignorant you are. Just by you running your mouth. You know, sometimes silence is golden. That's an old saying, silence is golden. But to get back to these kids, man, it's like, I spoke to a friend of mine today that happened to be a teacher, and she was telling me some stories, right? And again, you have parents that don't even have a second grade education. They can't help their kids, man. Even when it comes to math and reading. You know, you'd be surprised at the number of parents that can't read, but they have a high school diploma. They're functioning ignorant. So, I don't know what to say. The only thing I can say is, listen, if you know that you don't have the knowledge to help your kids, you know, I'm sure you have someone in your family that can sit down with your kids and help them with their homework. You know, I'm sure there's somebody that can do that. You know, but for you to sit there and try to play like you know and you don't know, you don't even know the extent of your own ignorance, and you try to convince the world. And I know you want to be a hero to your kids. You want to make your children think that you know and that you're smart. And you probably told them lies when you were in school about how smart you were and how you were on the honor roll. But when it comes time to sit down and actually work with them, now they're being exposed of not knowing because you did the work for them and you didn't even know. Even using Google, you got the wrong answer. So parents, if you don't even have a second grade education, if you know, or if you are aware, you know, awareness is good. If you are aware that you're ignorant and that you don't know, seek some help, man. You know, hire a tutor if you could afford it. But you're only messing up your kid's future. So I didn't mean to go on this long. I just wanted to talk about, and I know that there's some people out there that's going to take offense to this because, you know, hey, hit dog hollers yet loud or something to that effect, whatever they say. You know, if you hit, you know, you know, if this video makes you mad and you got to thumb it down or you got to tell me, because I got a stalker on here. I have a stalker on the internet. You know, if I put another channel out there, that stalker will come to that channel just to thumb that video down, right? You know, because maybe it's some dude out there. I don't think it's a woman, right? This is a dude, you know, because we're living in a time, and it plays right into what I'm talking about here. We're living in a time where you have a lot of envious people out there. They don't want to do for themselves. They failed in life. They know they failed in life. And then when they see someone else that appears to be doing well for themselves, then envy and jealousy fills their heart. So they do everything they could to try to stunt that person's growth. Even something as simple as thumbing down a video. I don't thumb down too many videos. I don't. If I watch somebody's video, even if I don't agree with them, I'll just like click off the video. You know, I don't bother to try to rate anybody's video. The only time I would thumb down a video is if it's dealing with, you know, something really, 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 really ratchet and, you know, something that affects the kids, man. Other than that, I just move on. And I won't go back to that channel, right? But to follow someone around the internet just to thumb down a video, don't watch the video, just thumb it down. Just because of the fact that you have jealousy and envy in your own heart because of the fact you are a failure in life. Yes, you are a failure in life. And you don't want to see no one else do better than you. And that's why we see situations where you have young men, not the girls, but you have young men that an opportunity comes to them when they're able to get out of the ghetto or get out of the hood, right? And they may be there like, okay, Monday I'm leaving because I got a record deal, or I'm going into the NBA or whatever, right? And so I want to hang out with my friends, but yet you don't know that in your company are people, or so-called friends or frenemies as they call, really don't like you. They're envious of you. They're silent envious of you. There's a lot of silent envy. There's a lot of silent people that's envy of other YouTubers. So what they do is they never comment. They never, support you financially. They just follow you around the internet just to thumb your video down. Very, very, very ignorant and envy and jealous and, but they just want to see your failure. But the young man that is about to leave the hood that Monday, so he go out Saturday to hang out with his friends, and then the person that's envious towards him or jealous of him takes him out because he don't want him to excel in life. He don't want him to do well. He want him, if you're not a failure like other, I'm gonna say black folk, those black folks will find ways of trying to pull you down. They're crabs in a barrel. So this is off my topic, but just felt it need to be said. If it's tight, then it's right. So feedback, tell me what you think. Till next time. I'm fearless.